On a recent sunny September day, I had the truly once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to witness and document the commercial fishery of the largest Fraser River sockeye season in nearly a century. On the heels of last year's dismal return of just 1.5 million fish, this year has been a startling mirror image, with estimates now topping 35 million sockeye. During one of the final openings of the commercial fishery, just off the south arm of the Fraser, near Richmond, I traveled out on a friend's boat to catch some of the action. We were fortunate to join Captain Mitch Ponak and his crew on the Snow Queen. This group, like many salmon fishermen, have shifted their focus to other more productive fisheries in recent years. This season's sockeye openings were so unexpected that the beleaguered industry was caught largely unprepared. Less so perhaps than the fisheries government managers, who have come under criticism for not better anticipating and reacting to the bumper crop. Everyone, it seems, from fishermen and DFO to conservationists and the public, has been genuinely astonished by this turn of events. The net effect in reaction to this incredible season has been mixed, as some rue the lost opportunity of what could have been a larger commercial catch. But on this day, on this boat, the predominant feeling is that of being blessed with an unexpected gift, something that no one appears to be taking for granted. It took the Snow Queen just 7 minutes to surround a large school of sockeye with their seine net, but getting the fish out of water would prove more challenging. For a refreshing change, today the crew's biggest problem was having too many fish.
We've got too many fish in the net. Something like the captain estimates between 35 and 40,000 sockeye in that seine net there. We're just trying to figure out how to bring them up. Look at that.
Bringing in some reinforcements.
When they finally got their net and rigging sufficiently reinforced, the crew went to work, reeling in what would become the largest single set of their careers. Over 35,000 fish in one seine net. Coincidentally, an old friend from high school, Richie Quacksister, was among the crew. Having been born and raised, like me, in a place called Campbell River, once known as the salmon capital of the world, Richie practically grew up on a boat, fishing with his family.
In your lifetime, you seen this before?
Never, ever. I don't even think my grandfather's seen this in his lifetime.
It must be pretty wild then, eh?
The whole summer's been awesome. Yeah, it's been great. I'm glad I get the experience.
What's it feel like being out here on a day like this?
Oh, the weather's good. I like seeing all these boats around here, catching all our fish. Great.
Seeing him in his element, reeling in the biggest catch of his life, was to be magically transported back to our youth and decidedly better times for wild salmon and the people who live off them. It is indeed ironic that at the very moment the federal judicial inquiry into declining Fraser Sockeye stocks, the Cohen Commission, is getting underway, we see a record-breaking return like this. While the open net pen salmon farming lobby has jumped to the conclusion that this year's dramatic rebound somehow disproves their critics' concerns about fish farms' impacts on wild salmon, if anything, it raises more questions than it answers. Like why the salmon farmers' favorite deflection of wild salmon declines onto climate change and ocean conditions hasn't held up this year, or whether it is merely a coincidence that the lowest documented sea lice levels in many years around the farms coincided with the out-migration of the very Fraser Sockeye smolts now returning this year as adults, when they passed the salmon farms on their way out to sea in 2008. But more than that, this year's Sockeye surprise, and the energy it has brought to coastal communities, has provided a timely reminder to all of what healthy wild salmon runs mean to the cultures and economies of the entire coast and province, and of how amazingly resilient nature can be despite our apparent best efforts to destroy it. It remains to be seen whether this is a sign of good things to come for BC's wild salmon, or, as academics and conservationists are now cautioning, an anomaly amidst an otherwise troubling trend. Beneath the excitement and pure joy on this late summer day lies a hint of melancholy. The unspoken question is whether this glorious fleeting vision will, as unexpectedly as it came, soon drift into memory as the greatest of all big fish stories. On the other hand, it is hard to ignore the obvious message from nature, that it is indeed entirely possible for wild salmon to thrive again on this coast, along with the people and environment whose fates are so intimately connected to that of these generous fish. Which is why it is more important than ever that we do our collective best to give them a fighting chance. From the heart of what can once again be called, if only briefly, wild salmon country, this is Damien Gillis for the Common Sense Canadian.